Insofar as the Christchurch shooting is concerned, we're not even sure if the guy was an involuntary celibate, but people are shitting on involuntary celibates. People are shitting on white males. People are shitting on them and calling them evil, throwing more garbage on them. Why? Why is it okay to shit on this group of individuals and all these other people? Oh no, you can't say a word about them. Even if the number of times that members of this group, that group, or the other group commit all kinds of atrocities, you can never say anything bad about these other groups, except these groups, this group, white males, involuntary celibates. Why is it acceptable to shit on them? Until a few months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, I had no idea who Shane Dawson was, and I could have cared less, to tell you the truth. The only reason I heard about him was that I was watching Philip DeFranco, and there was this thing about some interview, some documentary that Shane Dawson was doing on some guy, something star, some man, quote unquote, who's like filled with tattoos and, you know, just dressed up in some outlandish and fairly decadent manner. And what was his name of the guy? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You see, some documentary about it. Okay, so Shane Dawson means zero to me. Okay, I don't care about him. He might as well be like orbiting some other planet far away from the planet Earth that I reside in. Okay, I just want to make that clear from the get-go. But like there's this scandal going on, and I can't seem to get away from it. It's on Twitter, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. And what the hell? Now the scandal that's going on is quite simple. See, some old recordings of this Shane Dawson person are emerging, right? And it's basically Shane Dawson. Let me give it to you, you know, point by point. On the one hand, there is this podcast where Shane Dawson basically says, and without any kind of indication that he's joking, he says that he dry humped a cat, his own cat, which is just the most bizarre thing. From his account on this podcast, he said that he had become sexually aroused by his cat. And because of this, he had eventually reached a point where he was rubbing himself against this cat and ejaculated. Ew! And like I said, in this podcast, he gave no indication that he was joking, but now that he's getting a lot of heat for it, now he's claiming that he was just kidding. The other incident going on is a video circulating of him essentially French kissing a dog, which is just, again, ew. And I love dogs. I've had a dog. I love dogs and I want to get another one. And, you know, my kids love dogs, but French kissing a dog. Oh, no. Okay, the third thing that's cropped up, and here, for me, all bets are off. The third thing that's popped up is that, see, Shane Dawson was the guy who gave this big impetus to Cure the Wolf. Now, if you don't know who Cure the Wolf is this internet YouTube personality, right? Who was dressed in a fursuit. He was one of these fursuiter type people. Now, I personally thought that fursuiters were funny. I didn't realize how decadent they were until this Cure the Wolf case came out. And what happened? Well, this bastard, because that's the only word for the guy, he apparently was into having sex with animals, and not only having sex with them, torturing them to death, sexually torturing them to death, murdering them by rape. He apparently raped a puppy to death. And not only that, he would take dead animals and do sex acts on the corpses of these animals. I mean, Cure the Wolf is just fucking disgusting. And the thing that's interesting, of course, is that, see, it was Shane Dawson who gave him the signal boost. Shane Dawson was the one who popularized Cure the Wolf. Okay, one thing, fine. Two things, fine. Three things, smoke, there's fire, that whole thing. I mean, it seems pretty clear, and I'm an adult. I don't know for a fact, but from these incidents, it would seem clear to me that Shane Dawson has some sort of odd relationship with animals. Okay? It's as simple as that. But that's not what's of interest to me. What's of interest to me is the fact that everybody's saying that it's okay. It's okay that Shane Dawson made these quote-unquote jokes about having sex or virtual sex or rubbing himself up against a cat, that it's just a joke, bro, and him French kissing his dogs is, just a joke, bro, and him popularizing some individual who later turned out had no problem whatsoever bragging to his more intimate circle about the horrible things that he was doing to animals and to the corpses of animals, It's all okay. Shane Dawson is okay. It's okay because I guess, Shane Dawson is popular, right? And he's cool. He runs with the cool crowds. And therefore, because of it, it's acceptable. Everything that he does is A-okay. But incels, involuntary celibates, guys who are not particularly successful in today's deregulated sexual marketplace, those guys are fucking evil. Evil, I tell you. See this tweet that's on screen right now? Yeah, it's from Ellen Powell. She at one point was the CEO of Reddit, the front page of the internet, and she's decrying involuntary celibates. She's basically shitting on involuntary celibates and saying that they're evil and that something should be done about them. Something should be done about guys who are not particularly successful in the current deregulated sexual marketplace. She's basically saying that these guys have to be dealt with. Now, this is all coming up because of the whole Christchurch shooting, right? A lot of people are trying to say that the guy who did it is basically an incel. That remains to be seen, but what seems quite obvious is that everybody seems to be shitting on involuntary celibates. For what reason exactly? Because first of all, isn't it against the rules to blame an entire group of people for the sins of, one individual? I mean, I hear all the time that, whenever a Muslim extremist blows up a church or kills a bunch of people or takes a truck and mows down innocent pedestrians, including small children, that we shouldn't blame all Muslims. It was just that crazy man, but all the other Muslims are totally blameless. The same for every other minority group. The group is always blameless, it's just the individual. Except when it comes to involuntary celibates. And not even, because insofar as the Christchurch shooting is concerned, we're not even sure if the guy was an involuntary celibate, but people are shitting on involuntary celibates. People are shitting on white males. People are shitting on them and calling them evil, throwing more garbage on them. Why? Why is it okay to shit on this group of individuals and all these other people? Oh no, you can't say a word about them. Even if the number of times that members of this group, that group, or the other group commit all kinds of atrocities, you can never say anything bad about these other groups, except these groups, this group, white males, involuntary celibates. Why is it acceptable to shit on them? Could it be that it's just because they're not cool? Because Shane Dawson, I mean, it's pretty clear to everybody with a little bit of common sense, Shane Dawson is clearly involved in all kinds of weirdness. Okay, I mean, come on, we're adults. We can, add up 2 and 2. We can connect the dots. It's not complicated. The guy is into all kinds of perversions, for crying out loud. Okay, and we're seeing, little slip-ups here and there. But you add up these slip-ups all together, and what do you see? What do you get? We're adults. We can figure shit out. But see, Shane Dawson, oh yeah, he's untouchable because he's popular. Whereas involuntary celibates, oh, you can shit on them all you want because they're not popular? Is that it? Has our society basically become a popularity contest? where morality is dictated by how popular you are, how many followers you have, how many subscribers you have? Does the fact that I have 175,000 subscribers, does that mean that I am more popular than somebody who has 20,000 and therefore I can get away morally with something that somebody with 20,000 cannot get away with? And can that guy with 20,000 subscribers get away with more shit than somebody that has only 1,000 subscribers? Is that how it works? Is that what's going on? That, you know, the number of your social media dictates your morality, your moral worth, the moral standing you have? Is that how it works? And is it the case that somebody who comes from the wrong ethnic and sexual group gets shit on disproportionately compared to somebody who comes from the right ethnic group? Do you know, are there certain people who have like a get out of free jail card insofar as everything just because of where they're from, what womb they were born from, what skin color they have, what sex or sexual orientation they have? Does that mean that, you know, the crippled lesbian black woman can, you know, commit genocide, but the straight hetero white guy cannot jaywalk without, you know, going to prison for 1,000 years? Is that what's going on? Is that the kind of society we have? Is that what the culture is telling us is appropriate, quote unquote? Seems so to me. See, there's this kid, this 18-year-old boy in New Zealand, right? And he linked some pages that had the Christchurch Shooters Manifesto and video of the event. I'm not clear exactly what it was that he forwarded. That's not the point. The point is that, see, this poor 18-year-old bastard is looking at something like 14 years in prison over this shit. Okay, 10 or 14. Again, you know, the Alzheimer's is catching up to me, but it doesn't really matter. You're talking double-digit prison terms, years, decades, over sending a fucking link. That's what he's going to be getting? Huh? Is that how it works? Is it because he was a white kid, a white young man? Is that why he's getting disproportionately punished for sending a fucking link? Whereas Shane Dawson gets to apparently French kiss his animals and dry hump cats to orgasm and hang out with people who are involved in a degeneracy that is frankly criminal, because Kira the Wolf is actually going to jail, right? It's okay for Shane Dawson to do that, but for some, you know, white kid to send a link to what happened, he gets, you know, 10, 14 years in prison. Is that how our society is supposed to work now? Is that am I getting this fucking right? Is that how we're supposed to live nowadays? Huh? Is it basically, you know, depending on your skin color and sexual orientation and how popular you happen to be, whether you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail or a goodly chunk of your life in jail, or get lionized on YouTube? Is that how it fucking works? Because I would really want to know. I really want to know. I really want an explanation here. Huh? Because, see, like, my audience, for the most part, I know who my audience are. You know, they're guys like the guy I used to be. The guy who wasn't very successful with girls back in the day. The guy who didn't know what the fuck he was doing with his life. The guy who got absolutely no direction whatsoever and was told to just, you know, figure it out and just, you know, be yourself. No guidance, no assistance, no nothing. Just thrown to the fucking wolves. Yeah, that's the guy I used to be. And lucky for me, I was able to figure it out. And that's why I do my videos. So that younger guys who were probably like me when I was young, well, they could have a little bit of guidance, a little bit of fucking direction, right? Are these the guys that we're supposed to throw to the wolves some more? You know, because they're trying to figure shit out? Fuck. You know, I'm not doing this video very well. You know, I'm just like really fucking hot under the collar. Because, you know, the whole Christchurch thing, you know, it's a tragedy. Poor people, they got shot by this guy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know, thoughts and prayers and all that shit. Yeah, fine. But, you know, for the people who are still around, the people who are living, the people who are getting shit upon by our culture. I mean, what the fuck? Why? Why are we getting shit upon for something we didn't have anything to do? Why are we getting shit upon because somebody articulated our legitimate grievances? See, because that's kind of like the real thing that's going on right now. See, because the Christchurch shooter, you read his manifesto, and yeah, a lot of it is just shit talking. A lot of it is just, he's just trolling, right? But a lot of things he's saying, they're legitimate grievances. They're legitimate grievances that are not being addressed by the culture. The worse yet, they're legitimate grievances that the very fact that you try to articulate these legitimate grievances get you shit upon, get you called a racist or a sexist or Islamophobe or whatever the fuck. And these are legitimate grievances, but there is no mechanism whereby we can articulate these legitimate grievances. And what's worse, if we try to articulate these legitimate grievances, we get into serious trouble, career-ending trouble. What the fuck? This Shane Dawson character, for me, he's just symptomatic. He's getting away, clearly, with some really untoward behavior. And he's just getting a pass from it. And they're like, oh, it's just a joke, bro. Whereas when something is really a joke, right, and clearly a joke, you're called a white supremacist, or you're called a Nazi, or a fascist, or a racist, or Islamophobe, or anti-Semite, or any of the others of the dozens of different swear words that can be thrown at you in this current environment. See, you can say the word fuck and shit and cunt all you want, but these other swear words, racist, sexist, homophobe, Islamophobe, blah, 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 all these words carry real weight. These words can fucking kill you. If you're like in the working class, you don't have any kind of future. If you're somebody who's just working class, just wants to have a good life, a decent life, you want to, get married to a high school sweetheart and have a couple of brats and just live a decent life, well, there's no future for you. You don't have any kind of blue-collar jobs. They're all gone. They all got shipped off to Vietnam and Mexico and China and Singapore and Malaysia and wherever the fuck, right? And so what's your best bet? Some service job, right? Working at Walmart or something. I mean, you don't have any kind of real future. That's why the opioid epidemic is at epidemic proportions, right? Because it's just easier to get high and tune out than to face the fact that you have a shitty life, that you've got nothing to look forward to. Yeah, and if you say the wrong political thing, you espouse the wrong political opinion, you vote for the wrong guy, you could be locked out of employment. Yeah. It's happening, for crying out loud. You got, headhunting companies and what have you that are checking your social media to see if you have the correct opinion, the correct political opinion. And if you don't have it, you don't get a fucking job. What the fuck is that all about? And that's happening, and we all know it. And if you're a guy and you like some girl, but maybe you're not that slick, not that smooth, and you try to show a little bit of interest in her, and you want to try to maybe get her out to go on a date, right? The very fact that you approach her can be used against you, and you can be accused of sexually harassing her just for asking her out on a date. And it happens, not if you're like one of the cool kids. No. It happens if you're like ugly and awkward and not very smooth. How fucking fair is that? I don't know if I'm going to put up this video, because clearly I'm not able to articulate my anger and upsetness in a coherent way. But I just wanted to put it down, I'm just so angry at the mainstream culture. Because we have legitimate grievances and we are constantly being shit upon. And I'm fucking tired of it.